The solution to every problem is to give more to those who've got the most. And there is a revolt against that. So I don't share the pessimism that some form of concerted international action can't happen. And it would be good if it happened in Europe, if it couldn't happen internationally first. But I think the conditions across many countries that I observe in the world are such that there could be a degree of international cooperation to produce the tax culture that ends the war against tax and leads to a much more balanced debate about the role that tax plays in the development of a civilised society. And part of that is the mix of taxes, but some taxes are necessarily regressive. The man from Oxfam mentioned the developing world. In the early stages of developing tax systems in developing countries, you do have to actually rely more on regressive taxes to raise money in the first instance, because the institutions, the culture and the investment isn't there. But as countries evolve over time, the aim should be to move to a more progressive mix of taxes, some regressive taxes, more progressive taxes that deliver the tax to GDP ratios that are necessary to deliver the sustainable development goals. So I think that concerted action is important, and if in fact 3 or 4 of the big players in the world stood up tomorrow and said that they had a new approach to transfer pricing issues, that was no longer going to be targeted towards physical presence in a country, that recognised the economic importance of particular institutions which didn't have a physical presence in the country, that they were going to find a new way of evaluating how profit was derived in that country and then how it was taxed and spread. That could happen tomorrow. It could happen tomorrow. It won't happen tomorrow, but it doesn't mean to say that it won't happen. Because across the world, particularly in the developed world, there is a revolt against neoliberalism and a desire for more inclusive services to be provided by governments and a recognition of the role that government actually plays in the economy, working with the private sector. So I'm not a pessimist. It will take some time for it to happen. It doesn't mean to say it can't, and that's why the United Nations is terribly important. That's why what the OECD is doing through its inclusive framework is important, because at the end of the day, the politicians that are driving decisions about this still have to actually have a level of revenue which continues to ensure they get elected.